Hi guys, it's me. So today is Tuesday, the 24th. Again, I'm retired. I hardly ever know what day it is. I'm in Tulsa, visiting friends and family. And I've had a little mission while I've been here in Tulsa. And one of those things has to do with my mom. By the way, let me introduce you. Here's my mom. Yes, her name is, it's still her name, Marian. Here's my mom in this box. I have not seen my mom's remains in, well, ever. So when I picked these up the other day, it was a very interesting reaction. Had a very interesting reaction. Side note, I took some of my mom's remains and put them into like a small red cardinal urn for my brother, and then I'm taking some of the remains and infusing them into a glass orb for Kai, and then the rest of them are going to be put into a plot in a local cemetery not too far from here, a plot that my parents bought decades ago. And anyway, but it's just a task that hasn't been done, but it's almost the 10th anniversary of my mom's passing, and so we're hopefully as a family we're gonna get that done here in the next short little bit, or weeks, months, but hopefully before her 10th anniversary, the anniversary of her death, which is unfortunately May 4th. Anyway, but when I picked up these remains the other day, I was surprised at the emotional reaction that I had to them. I never got to say goodbye to my mom. For those of you who don't know, she had gotten diagnosed for the second time with lung cancer. The first time was large cell lung cancer, and then the second time was small cell lung cancer. Guys, don't smoke, it'll kill you. And the second time was stage 4, which we didn't even really find out until after the fact. But she did 1 dose of chemo and it killed her. And so nobody got to say goodbye to her. And so she was cremated, and never got to see those remains or whatever like that until a couple days ago. And when I took the bag out and was filling up the urn for my brother, I was really surprised at the emotions that I had, because I don't really have any connection to, didn't feel like I would have a connection to the ashes. I myself am going to be cremated, and I don't really care what happens to my ashes. And everybody has a different opinion about ashes and how they are distributed or not distributed or whatever, and everybody gets to have their own opinion on their own ashes and how those are handled. But it was really weird seeing the remains of my mother so I saw her in the viewing room when she died 10 years ago, but very briefly, because I didn't want to really see her in the viewing room, because I don't really like the way, nothing against funeral homes or whatever, but I just feel like they don't really, it's no longer your loved one, and I don't, the makeup and stuff, it's not really my jam and stuff like that, and I just wanted to remember her the way I remembered her, and not the way that they made her up to be, if that makes sense. So I just very briefly looked at her. I didn't really spend a lot of time I didn't spend any time with her body in the viewing room during visitation, and I didn't interact a long time with her body, during visitation or during the funeral. And so this is the longest I have spent with her remains since she died 10 years ago. She has been in the car with me. She's driven around Tulsa with me. It's the most time I've spent with my mom since she died 10 years ago. And it has been a really surreal experience. She was in the car with me while I was, driving around. And she's very secure in the box, by the way. She's not gonna like topple over and, poof or anything like that. So don't worry. But she, so she's in a box, and then I had her in a Reese's bag, and, I turned a corner and she like, the box kind of like, did that. See, did I scare you? And I go, hold on, Mom. Yeah, Sean and I have been making a ton of mom jokes, and they have all been hysterical. I have given Sean free reign to make as many mom jokes as he wants. Not dead mom jokes, which is, there's a difference. And I've told him he can make as many as he wants, and I will tell him when he crosses the line, and so far they've all been very funny. And I have just really enjoyed having her with me these last few days. I'm also really just want her in the ground. Not necessarily for me, because, spiritually, I'm, whatever. It's really just for the rest of the members of my family, for my brother and for the other members of my family. I do want her in the ground. But, yeah. But this is the closest I have been to my mom in 10 years. And it is really weird. I miss her so much. I do. I really miss her so much. And I didn't think I would have that reaction. Certainly not to ashes. And I don't have a connection to the ashes. I don't need to be close to the ashes. It just reminds me of how much I miss her. But it has been fun, like having her in the car. As weird as that might sound, it just makes me a lot more aware of her presence, right? And then I went and sat at the cemetery. I did go and spend some time, in the area where they do have their plot. It's called The Last Supper, which, hey man, it's almost Easter, and thought that was pretty cool. Just enjoyed, just sitting there and just being quiet. I didn't even pray. I didn't even feel the need to pray. I just wanted to be quiet. And I did. I was just quiet. So, I thought that was pretty awesome. So yeah, this is just the 1,000,000th time I have thought that death is funny. It's strange, it's peculiar. I have laughed a lot in these last few days having my mom with me. Obviously I've felt really weird emotions having my mom with me, and none of them are bad, which is, another reason why we need to talk about death more. We need to be more comfortable with death. There's nothing wrong with this. This is just, a normal part of life and all these things. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that this is part of what I'm doing in Tulsa. So anyway, hope to have mom in the ground soon. But I really have enjoyed having mom with me these last few days. But yeah, isn't this cool? But yes, Marian Williams. We're coming up on the 10th anniversary of her death, and really hope to have her in the ground soon. So, love her. She was amazing. If you would have known her, you would have loved her, because everybody did. Talk to you later.